Turn the sources you follow into your own personal radio station. The internet was supposed to make it easier to stay informed. Instead, for a lot of us, it became homework. Too many tabs, too many saved links, too many PDFs, too many newsletters, feeds, articles, videos, and things we meant to come back to later. Information is everywhere, but actually keeping up with it often feels fragmented, tiring, and high friction. That's the problem I've been trying to solve with Gravitas Crunch for iPhone. Gravitas Crunch is a private research workspace built around a simple idea. Start with real sources. Turn long reads into clear takeaways. Throw back into the original source when something matters. And most importantly, turn the sources you follow into your own personal radio station. The problem with modern information overload, a lot of information tools still force the same pattern. You find something interesting. You save it. You open it later. You skim it halfway. You switch apps. You lose the thread. You forget where the useful part was. You move on. That cycle is incredibly common now. It happens across browser tabs, read later apps, PDFs, notes, feeds, and social links. Even when the source material is high quality, the workflow around it often isn't. For me, feeds were part of that problem. I understood why they were useful in theory, but they still felt like an old internet artifact. Something powerful, but also technical, manual, and oddly distant from how most people actually consume information now. What changed for me was rethinking feeds not as a reader problem, but as a listening problem. What if the sources you follow could come to you? What if they could feel less like a backlog and more like a station? That question led to Gravitas Radio inside Gravitas Crunch. What Gravitas Crunch is designed to help you move from information overload to understanding with less friction. It includes Gravitas Radio for continuous listening from the sources you follow, crunch modes that turn long reads into clear takeaways, source-grounded drill down so you can jump back into the original material, source discovery for finding real articles and feeds quickly, import support for URLs, PDFs, EPUBs, feeds, and pubs, more. The goal is not generic AI chat. Gravitas Radio, from feeds to personal broadcasts, that changes the feeling of the whole workflow. Listening is lower friction. It fits more moments in a day. Not every article needs full attention up front. Some things deserve a quick high-level pass first. Others deserve more detailed analysis. That's where Crunch comes in. Gravitas Crunch can help turn long-form sources into clearer takeaways before deciding how deep to go. This is especially useful when dealing with dense articles, technical posts, long-form essays, saved reading backlogs, PDFs, and papers. Sources you want to understand quickly before committing more time. The point is not to replace reading. The point is to make reading more intentional, source-grounded, not detached. One of the biggest problems with a lot of AI-driven tools is that they drift away from the source. You get an answer, but it becomes harder to tell where it came from. The convenience is high, but the trust can be low. Gravitas Crunch is built around the opposite principle. See the source behind the answer. Gravitas Crunch is not meant to be limited to one format or one style of source. Feeds alone are not enough. Saving things for later is not enough. Summaries alone are not enough either. What matters is the full path. Find something real, understand it at a high level. Listen when reading is too much friction. Go deeper when something matters. Stay connected to the source. That is the workflow I wanted for myself. And that is what Gravitas Crunch is trying to become. A more useful role for AI. There is a lot of noise around AI right now. A lot of products lead with the model instead of the workflow. A lot of features feel impressive for a minute, but do not become part of real daily use. What interests me more is using these tools in a way that makes existing behaviors better. In this case, that means helping real sources become. Feeds stop being a chore. Reading backlog stops being guilt. Research becomes less fragmented. The internet becomes a little less like homework. Gravitas Crunch is still built around a straightforward belief. Real sources matter. Good workflows matter. And staying informed should not feel this hard. If we can turn the sources we care about into something we can actually live with day to day, That alone is valuable. That is the promise behind Gravitas Crunch.